Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram. Uh, I'm still in the confines of my room as I'm not fully recovered, but I would say yes, I'm partially recovered. I'm slowly recovering from what happened, and probably one more day, and then from Wednesday I should be probably getting fully fit, and this Cricket Happening Show this regular Cricket Happening Show would once again continue. Well, today what I'm going to talk about, as I said, please pardon me if at all I go wrong somewhere and you are not really getting the same rhythm that I bring in this Cricket Happening Show, but I can't be kept quite a long time from Cricket Happening Show because I really love doing that, and as it is my passion. Well, so what I'm going to look at today, there are three things we are going to look at. One is we are going to look at Australia's performance, where Michael Clarke joined the top pantheons in Test cricket by scoring three double centuries in a calendar year. It has been done only in the past by Ricky Ponting, the former captain, and the great Sir Donald Bradman. So we'll talk about that, and also Ed Cowan, who probably, in my opinion, would have paid a great tribute to his mentor, the late Peter Roebuck, who passed away probably last year or this year, I wouldn't know, but he was his mentor, and Ed Cowan went on to make his maiden century, and Australia had mountains of runs to their credit. In fact, they took the lead by 37 runs going into the fifth and final day, which should be a dull and drab affair with not much interest in this particular match here at the Gabba. I'll be talking about that. So I'll be briefly touching on everything. The other thing that we would look at is rain, which has always played a spoiled sport. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned now, even after the World Cup, what we saw, one could very safely say that rain is something which follows everywhere in Sri Lanka. And probably it's a monsoon season, and Sri Lanka, well, once again, if you look at today New Zealand, for the first time, they got the Sri Lankan batsmen under the rack and had them reeling at 123 for 8. But that was it. The rain gods once again intervened, and it was all over. The series was ended. The series ending with Sri Lanka taking it 3-0. But as I said, rain has played a pivotal part in this. None of the matches have really gone the all hog. Some matches where Sri Lanka won were decided by the Duckworth-Lewis method, and but New Zealand would be pretty happy with the fact that they did a good job here, especially keeping in view that the test matches would be the next focus, as they are going to be played later, probably in 5 days' time. And the other thing that we are going to look at is Bangladesh versus West Indies. So West Indies, who already set their foot on Bangladesh soil, are going to begin their battle tomorrow, and it is going to be against host Bangladesh at Dhaka tomorrow. The first test match starts over there, and it's a special moment, I would say, for West Indies, because West Indies are at full strength. They are looking absolutely powerful, I would say, and we'll talk about that. So I'll do a just brief preview, but first let me talk about the titanic clash between South Africa and Australia, with Australia resuming the overnight score with the rearguard action being put by Michael Clarke and Ed Cowan. They were pretty well placed at the time, and then they just strode on. They just went on. The first session, that is before lunch, they were not separated at all. They played very well. In fact, it was, as I said, this was a very mammoth partnership, which took the score from 40 for 3 to 299 for 4. That was the time when Ed Cowan, that was the only wicket that South Africa could really get, and that too they got it courtesy a run out when Ed Cowan, after making 136, was run out with 17 boundaries. He was absolutely superb in his knock. As I said in my tweeting, when I was doing my tweeting, I said that he showed glimpses of his ability against India when India were there but today he transformed that, and now this could really mean a permanent place for Ed Cowan as an opener. The reason being, I think David wanted us to really play well now, because Ed Cowan is really breathing now, because this is such a wonderful attack, and to score against such a wonderful attack, coming in when the chips were down for Australia, 3 for 40, they were 3 down for 40, and Ponting departed to Markel, and then this partnership grew enormously. It went to 299, so that gives you, I mean, it was a 249 run partnership. As you know, it was actually 259 run partnership between Ed Cowan, and as I said, South Africa's attack was blunted, and this would be a great innings, as I said, for Ed Cowan. The reason being, he has scored it against such a world-class attack, and I thought this was the best bowling attack that we have right now. I wouldn't say one of the best here, because Dale Steyn, we have Vernon Philander, we have Morne Markel, and with this attack, Ed Cowan was superb. He was not afraid to pull the ball. He was not afraid to hook the ball. He also used to play some drive shots. I mean, he was very good. He was good in his defect, very compact in his defense. He showed us why. And as I said, it was his maiden century, and what a time to come, along with his captain who nurtured him there. And Ed Cowan would have saluted his mentor, Peter Roebuck, who is no longer there. He was his mentor, and I thought this century of Ed Cowan would have been a great tribute to the late Peter Roebuck, who passed away. So 136 with 17 boundaries, and this is going to go a long way towards furthering Ed Cowan's international career. And then as far as Michael Clarke, what to say about Michael Clarke? What an innings. He was stranded in the 90s. In the 90s, the South African bowlers were not giving him anything to really take advantage of. Even though Michael Clarke played some very handsome drives, right on both sides of the wicket, he was cutting well, as he's known to, and Michael Clarke was absolutely wonderful. He's really buckled down. It was a very responsible innings that he played. The other day when Ponting was out, it was 40 for 3, and Michael Clarke and Ed Cowan. And what Michael Clarke did by scoring 218 is joined those elite group of Sir Donald Bradman and Ricky Ponting, the former captain, to become the first person, become the third person to score 3 triple centuries in a calendar year. So this is his third double century. I'm sorry. So this is his third double century in 2012. And take a bow, Mr. Michael Clarke. His captaincy has been marvelous, and he has been a successful captain. And today he was there, standing like a rock against the South African bowling. The South African bowling was not looking. They didn't look really venomous yesterday, but Michael Clarke's innings blunted the South African attack. 218 to his credit, unbeaten runs with 21 boundaries. Today he will resume his innings, and I'm sure Michael Clarke would be eyeing another 82 runs, and the Gabba crowd, because there's not much interest left in this match. It would be great if Michael Clarke could really continue that form and go on towards a triple century. Michael Clarke 280 not out at stumps, and Michael Hussey came in. Michael Hussey, just adding insult to injury, came and played his strokes as he normally does. He nurdles the runs and then plays some good strokes. He was cutting well, and finally Michael Hussey had 86 to his name, unbeaten 86 to his name with 12 fours. And another point of interest here would be Michael Hussey to get those 14 runs to get to his century. But the South Africans bowling was really blunted. 487 for 4 Australia, going into the lead by 37 runs. The match is not of any consequence, today being the final day. Dale Steyn 27 1 for 109 for him. Every bowler had a long toil there. Philander 25 overs, 2 maidens, none for 82. Morne Markel 26 overs, 6 maidens, 100 runs, 2 wickets. Cleanville 17 overs, none for 81. Callister overs, 3 maidens, none for 30. I'm sure Australia might have, South Africa would be ruining the fact that they didn't pick up Imran Tahir in this particular match. Graham Smith 9 overs for 36. In fact, Hashim Amla had to bowl 2 overs for 9 runs, and Alvaro Peterson bowled 3 overs, no maiden, none for 20. So Australia 487 for 4 at close of play on the 4th day of the first test match here at the Gabba, leading by 37 runs. And the point of interest is Michael Clarke, whether he gets to a triple century and whether Michael Hussey could get those 14 runs before, in the first session today to go to a century. So South African attack was really blunted, I would say. They didn't have any teeth to this particular batting by Michael Clarke and Ed Cowan and Michael Hussey. Well, the next match I would like to talk about is today was the final one-day international which entered the series with New Zealand putting up the best show in this series thus far by actually having Sri Lanka, who won the toss, and it was New Zealand who won the toss and put the New Zealanders, put the Sri Lankans into bat, and the Sri Lankans were really reeling at 123 for 8. A very good bowling effort by the speedsters. Trent bowled 5 overs, 1 for 23. Tim Southee was absolutely superb, 5.3 overs, two maidens, 3 for 18. Adam Milne was very impressive, 5 overs, 1 for 17. Nathan McCullum, 7 overs, none for 28. Rob Nicol, 2 overs for 12. And Andrew Ellis, 4 overs, no more than 22 runs from 2 wickets. 123 for 8 was what Sri Lanka had on the board at 28.3 overs when the rain gods intervened and the match was called off as a no result. Well, as far as Sri Lanka were concerned, the only point of note was Upul Taranga at the top of the order, who made 60 of 94 balls with 8 fours. Other than that, Dinesh Chandimal got a peach of a delivery from Tim Southee, which hit his off stump. Thirumanne was gone for 17. The other person to reach double figures was Mahela Jayawardene, who was run out for 24 of 26 balls with 2 fours, 11 coming from Thisara Pereira. Other than that, the New Zealand bowling looked very sharp, didn't give nothing away to the Sri Lankans, and the Sri Lankans were losing wickets pretty consistently, and that made the score 123 for 8. And as I said, this was the first time that New Zealand really showed that their batting, that their bowling had the wherewithal to actually wrap up the Sri Lankan innings. So 3-0, the Sri Lankan, the one-day series is all done and dusted. The focus shifts on to the test matches now. With it was man of the match went to BJ Watling of New Zealand. In fact, it was the player of the series, was a much improved player, and that was it. Now the other news that I will talk about just before my broadcast finish is tomorrow Bangladesh and West Indies are going to play their first test. West Indies are looking at absolute full strength, but Bangladesh definitely have the crowd advantage and the home advantage. But for Darren Sammy, as I said, he is on a mission. After winning the World Cup, any team's morale is absolutely boosted, and West Indies would be probably, and they are having a very powerful attack. So looking at the powerful attack, I'm sure West Indies would be really eager to really put this through, and they are a very strong unit, especially after winning the World Cup. As I said, the morale is boosted, and Darren Sammy, the captain, who is a very great captain, one of the great captains of West Indies. What he would do, he has already mentioned that he wants to be going up in the test rankings, and that's what he's going to do. And look at the power that West Indies possess: Chris Gayle, Kieran Powell, Asad Fudaddin, Marlon Samuel, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, The Rock, Narayan, Ramadan, Sami, Sunil Narine. Look at the Bangladesh team. Bangladesh probably would be hoping that the spinners could do a good job there, because Shakib Al Hasan is away from one landmark, and that landmark would be he needs another 4 wickets to become the second Bangladeshi bowler to get 100 wickets in Test cricket after Mohammad Rafiq, who has retired. Tamim Iqbal, Junaid Siddiq, Shahriar Nafees makes a comeback to the Bangladesh Test team. Naeem Islam, Mushfiqur Rahim, the captain. Shakib Al Hasan, Mahmudullah, vice captain. Nasir Hussain, Lias Sani, Shahadat Hussain, and Rubel Hussain. So that's the team composition. As I said, I don't have much time to really dwell on these things. As I said, been out under the weather, but I've done my best to come to this cricket show and share something with you, dear fans, friends and subscribers, which has always been something very dear to me. Thanks for your company and thanks for watching Cricket Happenings. Your host Ram signing off for today. Thank you.